The roar of the C-130's engines vibrated through Jax's bones like the growl of a beast ready to devour him. At 41,000 feet, the world below was a distant, indifferent blur, a patchwork of frozen canyons and iron veins of railway tracks snaking through the wilderness. Jax stood at the open ramp, the wind clawing at his scarred face, his black exosuit humming faintly with untapped power. No parachute, no backup, just him, the sky, and a gamble that physics could be bent, if not broken. "Control, this is Ghost Actual," he rasped into his throat mic, his voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding his veins. "Package is live. If I don't check in, burn the evidence." He didn't wait for a response. With a final breath that tasted like ice and regret, he stepped off the edge. The fall hit like a freight train. Gravity yanked him downward, the air turning into a hurricane that battered his body. Clouds shredded around him as he plummeted, his skin rippling under the force, blood vessels bursting in his eyes until the world turned red-tinged. Terminal velocity kicked in at 200 miles per hour, a human missile screaming toward oblivion. Jax's mind raced. 120 seconds to impact, no room for error. He tore open the chest panel of his exosuit, fingers numb from the cold. Inside, a swarm of microdrones waited, thumbnail-sized rotors glinting like predatory eyes. He slammed the release button. The drones erupted outward in a buzzing cloud, locking into formation around him, a makeshift lattice of steel and circuits, a parachute born of desperation and dark tech. The swarm strained against the descent, rotors whining in protest. Sparks flew as the wind sheared off the weaker ones, turning them into a trail of fiery comets vanishing into the night. "Hold!" Jax growled through clenched teeth, blood trickling from his nose. The altitude dropped, 15,000 feet, 10,000, half the swarm gone. But the rest clung on, slowing him just enough. Below, the target loomed. A freight train thundering across a railway bridge over a frozen canyon river, open coal cars heaped with powder snow, nature's cruel cushion. Jax killed the remaining drones with a flick of his wrist. They fell away like dying stars. He angled his body, arms pinned, legs straight, aiming for the last car. The train's rumble grew louder, a symphony of steel and speed at 70 miles per hour. Impact in 10 seconds. The world narrowed to that single black rectangle of coal and snow. Jax braced, every muscle screaming. He slammed into the car like a meteor. Snow exploded in a massive geyser, 50 feet high, burying him 8 feet deep in a freezing avalanche. The force shattered through his body, ribs cracking, lungs compressing, but the powder absorbed it, turning. Lethal velocity into a brutal, survivable crush. The train didn't even slow, barreling onward as if indifferent to the miracle in its belly. Silence enveloped him in the dark, powdery tomb. Jax's heart hammered, each beat a victory. He clawed upward, hand punching through the crust into the biting wind. Gasping, face crusted with ice and blood, he emerged. Laughter bubbled up from his chest, raw, broken, triumphant. "Physics," he whispered to the howling night. "You owe me one." He hauled himself to the edge of the car, then climbed to the rooftop. The canyon walls blurred past, the bridge giving way to endless tracks. Jax stood tall, wind ripping at him, and raised a trembling fist to the sky. "I'm still here!" He screamed into the void, lightning cracking overhead as if the heavens themselves acknowledged his defiance. The train plunged into a tunnel, swallowing him in total darkness. Jax ignited a red flare from his suit, holding it high. Sparks from the wheels illuminated his face, a demon forged in freefall, reborn on the ground. Some men don't just fall, they conquer the abyss.